From the 81st floor of Vale Enterprises' tall building, Everin Sloan stood like a king. He looked down at the big, shiny city called Silvergate. It looked like his kingdom. He had built it with hard work, smart thinking, and computers. People knew him as the man who changed everything. He didn't smile much. He didn't look at people's faces. He cared more about money than people. Everin was strong, quiet, and very smart. But no one got close to him. Not the people who gave him money, not the women he dated, not even the people who worked for him. And definitely not Noah Kem. But Noah knew him, even if he didn't know her. Not because they talked. They never did. But she saw the little things he left behind, like the messy coffee mug on his desk, the lipstick on tissues in the trash, and the smell of his fancy cologne trying to hide how tired he was. Noah came to work very early before the sun came up. She left before anyone else arrived. That was how she liked it. She wore old sneakers, a dark blue work outfit that zipped up to her neck, and always kept her hair in a scarf. She walked quietly, like someone who didn't want to be seen. A long time ago, Noah had been a poet in Lagos, Nigeria. She won prizes for her poems and believed her words could change the world. But moving to America was its own kind of love story. She gave up everything to help her mom and little brother back home. Her mom got very sick and needed money for medicine. Her brother needed school fees. So Noah took a job cleaning rich offices. She had a visa, a job, and one rule: don't expect kindness. Just clean. Still, something about Everin caught her attention. It wasn't just that he was tall and wore fancy suits. It wasn't even his voice, though when she heard it, it was deep and smooth like velvet. It was how he never noticed anything around him. One time, he walked past her while she was cleaning near a couch. His shiny shoe stopped just an inch away from her hand. He didn't say, "Excuse me." He didn't even look down. He just walked on. She didn't expect him to notice, but a tiny part of her whispered, "One day you'll remember me." Not to be mean, not because she hoped for anything, just because people like her, who lost, who loved, who stayed quiet, they were the ones holding everything together. And people like Everin only looked up, not down. He didn't know that she found the hidden bottle of whiskey after he had a breakdown. He didn't know that she threw away the napkin with lipstick from his secret girlfriend. He didn't know she liked the smell of mango flowers, or that she whispered a prayer every Friday over the meeting table. But she knew him. She saw the little line on his face get deeper every time money went down. She noticed when he changed cologne after a breakup. She saw the photo of his dad disappear from his shelf one cold winter and never come back. And most of all, she saw how lonely he was. The kind of lonely that money can't fix. Then one Monday morning, something changed. Everin was very late. People whispered about a big problem, money missing, a boss quitting, maybe trouble with the law. Noah didn't care much for gossip, but when he finally came in, he looked very tired. His shirt wasn't buttoned all the way. He had no tie, and for the first time he stopped and looked right at her. Noah had just come out of the bathroom holding her cleaning things. She froze. His eyes met hers, not through her, not past her, but at her, just for a second. Then his phone rang and he went inside. But it was the first time he saw her face. That night, Noah couldn't sleep. She told herself not to think too much. Maybe he was just tired. Maybe he didn't even really see her. But something in her heart pulled softly. She opened an old notebook and started writing poems again. Because sometimes the people who run the world forget who's keeping the walls standing. The next week, she noticed more strange things. His office lights stayed off. Once, she found a broken glass under his desk. Another time, she saw his name on a report. He had shouted at someone in the lobby and had to be taken away. She started noticing more than just dirt. She noticed cracks, not in the windows, in him. Quietly, she stopped being just the cleaner. She became the watcher. One morning before sunrise, she came in and found the elevators off. Security said the building was closed, but the CEO's penthouse needed cleaning for a TV interview. She had to go alone. Her hands shook as she went up in the private lift. She had never been to the penthouse. She thought she'd see wine bottles or fancy food. She did not expect to find him. Ivrin Sloane was lying on the floor, barefoot, unshaven, his cheek pressed to the cold marble. A bottle of rice wine was spilled nearby. His phone was broken. He was whispering names she couldn't understand. Noah stopped. This wasn't her job. She should have walked away. But then she remembered her mother lying on a hospital floor in Lagos asking for help while people walked past. She dropped to her knees. She pushed the bottle away and checked his pulse. He was burning up with fever. She ran to the kitchen, grabbed water and a clean cloth, came back, and lifted his head gently. "You need water," she whispered. His eyes fluttered. "Who the heck are you?" he mumbled. She swallowed. "The one trying to save your life." That night, everything changed, though neither of them knew it yet. To Evren, she was just a ghost kneeling over his broken pride. To Noah, he was still the man who never saw her, until now. And even then, only because he had fallen far enough to look up. The next time Evren opened his eyes, there was no city, no glass, no busy office. Just a spinning ceiling fan and something warm beside him. He blinked. Noah was there, curled up on the floor with a blanket. She was still in her work clothes, arms around her knees. Her eyes were closed, but she was ready to move if he needed her. He tried to sit up, but felt dizzy. His mouth was dry. His shirt was gone. He was wrapped in towels and smelled like lemons. "What happened?" he croaked. Noah sat up quickly. "You had a fever. I found you passed out. I cleaned you up and stayed." She stood slowly and spoke quietly. "I didn't call anyone. I didn't want the news people to make it worse." Evren blinked again, confused. "You stayed?" She nodded. "You needed help." He didn't speak. He just looked at her. And for the first time, she didn't look away. That moment of help turned into many quiet days. Noah came back the next night and the next. Not because anyone told her to. No one was in charge now. The outside world was loud with bad news. But Evren's penthouse became a soft, quiet place. He never asked her why she came back. She never asked him how he had fallen so far. They didn't need to. In the silence, everything made sense. Vale Enterprises was falling apart. The company's name was no longer special. It was now tied to scandal. People found out $620 million was missing. The money had been hidden using fake companies and bad deals. His own chief financial officer was missing. Evren hadn't noticed. He had been flying on private jets, going to fancy dinners, chasing money. He didn't see the floor falling away beneath him. The lawyers rushed around. The news was everywhere. One night, Evren got so angry he threw his phone across the room. It broke. Noah watched from the couch, quiet, still. There. "You should go," he muttered. "This isn't your problem. I'm done for." She tilted her head. "Then why are you still breathing?" He breathed out. "Because I'm too proud to jump." Silence. Then she said softly, "Good." The days blurred together. Once, Evren had a big team of helpers. Now, no one called him back. His bank accounts were locked. His board of directors said they weren't to blame. People stopped trusting him. The government started an investigation. But every evening, just as the sun went down, Noah returned. Sometimes with food, sometimes with warm towels, once with music, soft Nigerian songs from her phone that filled the quiet room. Evren never asked why, but he began to listen. One evening, he sat at the kitchen bar while she warmed up rice. "You do this every day," he said. "Why?" Noah stirred the pot slowly. "Because people deserve a chance to heal, even when they don't think they do." He looked at her in a new way. "You act like I'm worth saving," he said, "and you act like you're not." He blinked. It had been 2 weeks since everything in his life went wrong. Then came the biggest surprise. Someone left a secret file under his door. There was no name, no note, just a plain brown envelope. Inside were black and white photos of Evren and a woman he was seeing. But that wasn't the worst part. In one of the pictures, he saw a tiny microphone on her fancy dress. She had been recording all their talks, every word he said. She was working with the police for months. Everin had trusted her. He had told her everything, but she helped bring him down just to save herself from trouble. Everin's hands shook. His legs felt weak. He dropped to the floor. Noah, a kind woman who had been staying with him, ran to his side. For the first time since all the bad things started, Everin didn't shout or act angry. He just cried. Noah knelt beside him. She held his head close to her chest. He cried like someone who finally understood that the only person who really cared for him had been there all along, and he hadn't even noticed. That night, they sat on the floor in the dark, with only the moonlight shining. Everin whispered, "They took everything from me." Noah shook her head. "No, they just took away the fake stuff. But what if I don't know how to begin again?" he asked. "You already started again," she said, "the night you let me in." She didn't kiss him. She just stayed, and somehow that meant more than anything. The next day, he got one last court paper. But Everin made a big choice. He wasn't going to run. He wouldn't hide behind money or lawyers. He stood outside on the big marble steps of his tall building, Vale Tower. He wore a plain blue jacket. It wasn't fancy, just neat. He didn't read a speech. He just told the truth. "I failed," he said. "Not just as a boss, but as a man. I let fake people into my life. And when they all left, the only person still there was the one who never asked for anything." He didn't say her name. But he looked at the corner of the crowd where Noah stood in a gray hoodie. She didn't wave. She didn't smile. She just stood tall. The newspapers were mean to him, but something began to change. Not outside, but inside him. Falling down had helped him open his eyes. He started to feel quiet inside. He started to feel her. One day, Noah brought him warm soup. She put it on the table and walked over to wake him. He was lying on the couch. He looked sick again. His shirt sleeves were wet with sweat. She knelt beside him, his open slowly. "Hey," she whispered, "let's get you into dry clothes." "You're still here?" he asked. She nodded. He looked down at his wet shirt. "I can do it." "No, you can't," she said softly. She gently pulled off the damp shirt. He didn't stop her. He just watched her calm, steady hands. She was helping him like a nurse, not to be praised, not to be loved, just to help. She didn't want anything from him. She just didn't want him to feel alone. When his shirt was off, she used a wet cloth to wipe his skin. Her fingers touched near his collarbone, and he shivered. She stopped and looked at him. Their eyes met. "You don't have to do this," he said. "I know," she replied. She kept cleaning his arms, but then his hand gently held her wrist. "Why do you care?" he asked. Noah didn't move. "Because I know what it feels like to be alone and still want someone to stay." His hand let go. His eyes became softer. "You're not scared of me?" he asked. "No," she said, "but I think you're scared of yourself." That night, he didn't sleep, not because he was sick, but because of her. He watched her sleep in the big chair near the window. She didn't touch him again that night, but her not being in bed felt louder than anything else. The next morning, he tried to act normal. He made coffee. It was really bad, but she smiled. "Not bad," she said. "It's terrible," he laughed. "Still better than being invisible." "Invisible?" he asked. "Yeah," she said. "That's how I've always felt." He stared at her. Then he said something he had never said before. He said her name, Noah. She froze. He said it like it mattered, and it did. After that, things didn't move fast. They started slow. He asked her about her life, about her family, her brother who wanted to be an engineer, her mother who passed away too early, her poetry, her journals, and he really listened. They didn't say big things, but they talked. And the next day, they talked again. One evening after a long day, Noah was wiping his forehead. Her hand stayed on his face longer than usual. His hand caught hers gently. "Noah," he said softly. She looked down. His hand slid slowly up to her elbow. "You think I'm broken?" he asked. "No," she whispered. "I think now you're finally feeling everything." Those words hung in the air. Then he leaned in. Not like a rich man full of pride, but like someone who was afraid to lose something important. Their lips touched. It wasn't a pretty kiss. It was full of need. He kissed her like he had waited forever. She kissed him like she had been hiding her feelings for years. Their hands moved, their bodies pulled close. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about being real. When he stopped, he looked nervous. I've never what? She whispered. Been this scared of messing something up, something that isn't even mine yet. She looked at him. Then don't mess it up. That night, they didn't take off their clothes. They just lay together, fully dressed, holding each other. Noah listened to his heartbeat. It sounded like a man learning how to feel again. In the days that followed, he noticed her more. When she walked into a room, he smiled. When she wasn't around, he missed her. They didn't tell anyone about them, but people could feel it. Evren stood straighter around her. Noah laughed more around him. One afternoon, during the soft golden light, Noah bent to pick up a book. Evren reached for it too. Their hands touched. They paused. Then he kissed her again. This time it wasn't rushed. It was quiet and full of meaning. Her back rested against the bookshelf. His hands hugged her waist. Her lips touched his neck. In that moment, they weren't rich man and helper. They were just two people who had been through a lot and finally found something true. Later, as they sat on the bed, fingers locked together, she whispered, "This won't be easy. They'll blame me." "I don't care," he said. "You will," she said. He looked at her. Let them. Their love didn't start with promises. It started with silence, with deep feelings they hadn't spoken out loud. 3 days later, it happened again. Noah was folding a blanket when Evren came behind her. His breath tickled her neck. "I haven't stopped thinking about that night," he whispered. She turned. "Me neither." He touched her hand. She didn't pull away. This time their kiss didn't stop. They kissed with passion. Their clothes came off, not quickly but slowly, like they were letting go of heavy things. Her dress fell, his shirt dropped. Their love wasn't planned, but it was real. He kissed her neck, her shoulders. She showed him where she wanted his hands. He wasn't in control, and for the first time, he liked it. They made love on the living room floor. The sunlight made soft shapes on their skin. She was gentle. He was careful. They held each other tightly. After, she lay on his chest. "You should hate me," he whispered. "I never saw you." "I didn't need your eyes," she said. "I just needed you to feel." He held her close. Something inside him broke and healed. From then on, their nights were special. She came to his home after work, took off her coat, and he was waiting. Sometimes they had dinner. Sometimes they just sat. Sometimes they were in bed. Sometimes in the shower. One night, water poured over them. She gently pushed him against the wall. He gasped. "You don't have to prove anything," she whispered. "I know," he said, "but I want to learn how to give, not just take." She smiled. "Then let me show you." That night, Noah wanted to help Evren feel better, not to be in charge, but to heal his heart. She laid him on the bed gently and kissed every scar on his body, every tired line on his face. She touched him softly and lovingly. Evren didn't feel like he was being taken over. He felt safe. He held the sheets and said her name like it was the only word he could remember. And when he cried in her arms, saying little words about feeling sorry and wishing for kindness, Noah held him like he was someone very special. She didn't ask him questions or demand answers. She gave him something even stronger: love and acceptance. But it wasn't just the way she touched him that changed Evren. It was what she did afterward. She didn't disappear. She stayed with him in the morning, curled up under his arm, her toes touching his leg. She brought him warm tea and read poems she had written herself. Her voice shook a little when she read because the poems held memories. "You wrote all these?" he asked, holding her journal carefully. She nodded. "They're beautiful," he said. "You're beautiful." Noah laughed a little, shy and sweet. "You say that now. Wait till the world finds out." "They will," Evren said, "and I'll still say it louder." Noah made his world brighter. They danced barefoot in the kitchen, made spicy rice together late at night, and fell asleep in each other's arms while a soft movie played in the background. For the first time, Everin didn't think of success by money or fame. He thought of laughter, hugs, and smiles. But outside, people were still talking. Photographers and reporters started following them. One evening, Noah came home looking worried. "They took a picture of me on the street today," she said softly. "I think they know." Everin's face became serious. "Let them," he said. "I'm not ashamed." "You should be careful," Noah whispered. He turned to her with eyes full of emotion. "No," he said. "I should have cared this much a long time ago." That night, they didn't make love because of passion. They did it because they were strong together. In a room full of candlelight, Everin kissed Noah like she was the most important person in his world. And maybe she was. She held him close, their hearts beating together. They moved slowly, like they were creating a new world. Afterward, they lay in bed, holding each other. "I don't care what people say," Everin whispered. Noah touched his hair gently and kissed his forehead. "Then make sure you mean that tomorrow." In the quiet moment that followed, her hand rested on her belly. Neither of them knew it yet, but a new life had already started growing inside her. Two of them. Have you ever felt love that made you feel better deep inside? Would you give someone a second chance if they showed they had truly changed? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story if it touched your heart. They couldn't hide it anymore. Not from themselves, not from the cozy home they now shared, not from the mirrors that showed them wrapped up in each other. Her hair bonnet was on the floor. His fancy cufflinks were beside a half-eaten plate of sweet plantains. Their love had become part of everything. But this love was not like Everin's past relationships, which were full of rules and deals. This love was free. He didn't ask where it was going. He only knew he was exactly where he wanted to be, every night, right beside her. They didn't wake up to alarms anymore. They woke up to soft hands, sleepy kisses, and morning giggles. Noah used to sleep on the edge of the couch. Now she stretched across his big bed, her legs tangled in soft white sheets, her lips smiling in her sleep. He'd wake up early just to kiss her shoulder before going to the kitchen. He'd wait for the sound of her bare feet walking toward him. "Smells like something's burning," she'd tease. "Smells like love," he'd joke back. And she'd smile, because the playful Everin, the one who laughed, hadn't existed before her. They didn't use titles like girlfriend or boyfriend, but when she touched his back in the shower, he leaned into her like her hands were the only thing holding him steady. When she asked him to read one of her poems, he did. His voice shook halfway through because the poem was about her mom. When she cried, he held her tight like she was made of sunshine and air, not something to use or hide, but someone to love. But not everyone liked the change. One afternoon, Everin's lawyer came to visit. They sat across the dining table. Everin looked different now. His beard was a little messy, his shirt was soft and wrinkled. He didn't care about looking perfect anymore. "You're not making this easy," the lawyer said. "Pictures of you and the cleaner are everywhere. People are talking." Everin leaned back. "Let them talk. You could end this quietly." "I don't want quiet anymore. You're picking her over your company?" "No," Everin said. "I'm picking me, and she's where I finally found myself." Noah overheard this from the other room. She didn't say anything then. But that night, she cooked his favorite food, lit a candle, and played music. When he tried to hold her hand, she paused. "Are you sure you're ready to lose everything for me?" she asked. He didn't answer with words. He stood up, walked to her, and knelt down. "I already lost everything," he said. "But you don't feel like a loss." That night, they made love again, not in a rush, but with kindness and care. He kissed her belly, then her chest, then traced her body with his hands. She guided him gently, and they moved slowly together, like they trusted each other completely. He whispered her name like it was a promise. Afterward, she lay on his chest, drawing soft circles on his skin. "I don't want to be your secret," she whispered. "You're not," he said. "Then show me. Let me into your world, not just the soft, quiet part. Let me in everywhere." He nodded, and he meant it. So he did. He went to a cafe with her, sat beside her, kissed her cheek, walked through the park, held her hand, bought her a notebook. She bought him peanuts. They laughed. People stared. Some whispered, but they lived. Then the stories hit the news. CEO falls for maid. Rich man tricked by house cleaner. Was it all a plan? The pictures were not kind. People online said mean things. One morning, Noah stood at the sink, not talking. "They're calling me a witch," she said. "A gold digger. A trick." Evren came up behind her, wrapping his arms around her. "Let them talk," he whispered. "You don't get it," she said, turning to him. Her eyes were wet. "I came here to work, to build a life, not to be part of your fall." "You're not," he said. "Then prove it." He nodded. "I will." That week he did something big. He went on live TV. The host asked him about the money problems, the lies, the woman in his house. Then they showed a private picture of Noah in his apartment. Evren didn't blink. "She's not my mistake," he said. "She's the one who helped me wake up." The host asked, "What do you say to people who think she used you when you were weak?" "I say," Evren said slowly, "she's the only person who saw me, even before I saw myself." That clip went everywhere. And so did Noah. Not as a joke, but as a story. That night, Evren came home. Noah was sitting on the bed, her journal open. "You told them," she said softly. "I told the truth," he replied. She looked at him for a long time. Then she handed him the notebook. "Then you should know," she said. "There's more truth coming." "What do you mean?" he asked. She took his hand, placed it on her belly, and smiled. "It's not just us anymore." Evren gasped. His hand shook. "Are you saying?" She nodded, eyes full of happy tears. He fell to his knees, hugged her tummy, and for the first time he cried from joy. They thought the hard times were over. But truth has its own timing. The next morning, Evren woke up early. He smiled as he watched Noah sleep. Her hand was resting over her tummy. Her hair was all over the pillow, and her lips were smiling, even in sleep. He felt peaceful. He poured her warm milk, left a note. "Went to clear my name. Stay in bed. You're carrying our future." Then he left. Not to a fancy meeting, but to a courtroom. He wore a plain shirt, a simple blue tie, and spoke with a calm voice. He told the truth. He said he trusted the wrong people, made bad choices, but he never stole. "I was betrayed," he said, "and I've already paid, not just with money, but with my heart." Some believed him, some didn't, but Evren wasn't pretending anymore. While he spoke, Noah got a surprise visitor. A woman in a white suit said, "We want you on TV. Tell your story." Noah asked, "Why me?" "Because the world's watching," the woman said. It wasn't a kind offer. It felt like a trap. Noah said no. She closed the door. But the media didn't stop. By evening, new photos were everywhere. Noah, pregnant, leaving a clinic. The bump showed just enough, and now everyone knew. That evening, Evren came home. Noah was on the couch. The TV was off. Her eyes were quiet. "I said no," she whispered. "But they did it anyway." He held her close. "They can't break us," he said. But this time, she didn't say anything back. Noah's voice was shaking. "What if this isn't about breaking us?" she asked. "What if it's about making you cold and alone again?" Evren pulled away a little. "Do you really think I would go back to that?" "No," she said softly, "but the world will try to make you." They sat quietly for a long time. Then Noah whispered, "Maybe I should go away for a little while." Evren's face looked sad. He knelt down in front of her. "Noah, don't say that. You're not ruining anything. You are what I'm building my life on now." Noah began to cry. "Then why does it feel like we're standing on glass?" That night, Evren didn't try to kiss her. He just held her close, wrapping himself around her like a warm blanket. He listened to her breathing and felt every shake in her chest. When she finally fell asleep, he whispered, "I will protect you, even if I have to fight the whole world." The next day, a lawyer from the old company came with papers. It's a settlement, the lawyer said. You'll keep your money and your name, but Noah has to stay out of the public. This is your clean exit. Evren read the papers quietly. Then he tore them in half without saying a word. I'm not ashamed of her, he said. I'll start over from zero if I have to. The lawyer laughed. You're giving everything up for a woman? Evren stood up tall. No, I'm choosing honesty. And she helped me remember what that looks like. But big choices come with big problems. A week later, an old video came out. It showed Noah walking in his fancy apartment wearing a robe. It was a quiet video, no sound, but the message was loud. The newspapers made a big deal out of it. That night, Noah sat in the kitchen. Her phone kept buzzing with messages and news. Do you regret being with me? She asked quietly. Evren walked over, took the phone, and turned it upside down. I only regret not finding you sooner. Then he knelt down and pulled out a small box. Noah's eyes got big. Evren, no press? No ring photos? No, he said. Just you, me, our babies, and a promise. She opened the box. There was no big shiny ring, just a small silver band with words from a poem inside, her poem. He had copied it from her old journal. You remembered, she said, surprised. I never forgot, he said. She said yes, crying and smiling. He kissed her knuckles, then her belly, and then her lips, slowly, sweetly. That night they didn't sleep. They lay side by side with his hand on her round belly, whispering baby names. Boy, Kale. Girl, Mirai. 2 names, 1 dream. No big houses, no rich parties, just home. They didn't tell the world they were engaged. No one needed to know. There was no news story, no party, no big diamond, just a silver ring with words from the heart. They lived quietly and happily. Evren moved them out of the fancy apartment. It wasn't because of the video. It was because that place didn't feel like home anymore. It was too shiny and empty. They found a brownstone house in Brooklyn. It had 3 floors, squeaky steps, and a messy garden. Noah laughed the first time she saw it. This house has soul, she said, and it has space for a crib, Evren added. It became their home. Evren stopped talking about money and business. He started living in the moment. He went with Noah to doctor visits, carried shopping bags, and walked her to the bookstore. He learned how to rub her back when it hurt. He brought her mangoes at midnight. He learned what a baby's kick felt like. They painted the baby's room together. He held her steady while she painted green on the walls. She hummed an old song from her childhood. You're glowing, he said. I'm just sweating, she laughed. No, he smiled. You're glowing. She started writing poems again. Every afternoon she sat by the window and wrote in a new journal Evren gave her. It had her name on it, Noah. Underneath her name it said, poet, woman, mother. Evren didn't build companies anymore. He helped people. Twice a week he worked at a legal office helping immigrants and small shop owners. I used to charge $10,000 for advice, he joked. Now I take coffee and smiles. When Noah was 8 months pregnant, Evren gave her a surprise. She walked into the living room and saw papers and warm tea. What's this? She asked. Your poems, he said. I printed them. She held the pages. The first line said, Love in the house that once ignored me. She cried. I want to publish them, Evren said. We'll sell them and give the money to help women learn to read. She kissed him deeply. He wasn't just giving her love. He was helping her speak to the world. The babies came on a rainy Tuesday. Labor was long and hard, but Evren never left her side. He held her hand and wiped her face. First came the girl. He cried. Then came the boy. He laughed and cried at the same time. They named the girl Mirai. They named the boy Kel. Noah held them in her arms, shaking but happy. Evren kissed her forehead. I never believed in miracles, he said, until now. They went home from the hospital. Evren tried changing diapers, but wasn't very good. You built big, good companies, but can't change a diaper? Noah teased. I'm learning, he said. They laughed a lot. For the first time, life felt real. At home, everything slowed down. They rocked the babies to sleep, read poems at night, cooked together, and hugged when things felt hard. When the twins turned 1 month old, Everin did something new. He wrote them a letter. He read it aloud while Noah held them. Zamalek, he wrote, you don't come from perfect people. You come from love, learning, and strength. You won't just hear about love, you'll see it in how we live. Noah cried. Read it again, she whispered. And he did. They didn't need big parties or fancy gifts anymore. They found joy in small things. Her feet in his lap while they watched the babies sleep, his head in her lap while she braided her hair. Soft voices, soft light, soft hearts. They weren't hiding, they were growing. 3 years later, Everin wasn't famous anymore. No more magazines, no more fancy suits, but he was happy. Their home was full of laughter. Paintings by the kids covered the fridge. Tiny shoes lined the hallway. The house smelled like cinnamon on Saturdays and like soap on Mondays. Each morning, Everin got up early, not for emails, but to pack lunches and chase the twins down the hall. Murray had his eyes, curious and sharp. Cale had Noah's laugh, bright and beautiful. He carried them on his shoulders as they yelled, "Rocket time!" Noah watched from the doorway, smiling. The man who once ruled big boardrooms now had sticker-covered clothes. They had built something strong, not with money, but with love. Their poetry book, Love in the House That Once Ignored Me, sold over 50,000 copies. The money helped start a center in Queens, where immigrant women could learn English and writing. Noah taught poetry every Friday. Everin helped quietly from the background. He didn't want to be the star. He just wanted to help. He once thought a legacy was about buildings and money. Now he saw it in the way Murray whispered stories to Cale at bedtime, and in the way little Cale looked up and asked, "Why do you smile when you see Mommy?" Everin knelt and kissed his son's cheek. "Because she saved me," he said. They didn't chase fame anymore, but good things still came. A big publisher wanted Noah to write more. She said yes, but only if it was true, with no fake stories. Everin stood beside her every step. One day, while helping at a fundraiser, a young girl came up to him. "Wait," she said. "You're that guy from the big crash?" Everin stopped walking. The man beside him said, "You lost everything, but you didn't give up. You changed. That's something special." Everin nodded. "I didn't change to be special. I changed to be real." They never went back to Vale Tower. Someone else bought it. They painted it and gave it a new name. One day, Everin walked by the building, pushing Noah's stroller. The stroller wheels made a little noise on the sidewalk. He stopped and looked up at the tall building. Noah held his hand and asked, "Are you okay?" He smiled. "Better than ever." Then they kept walking, because when you build something truly good, you stop looking back. Every year, they went on a trip. Just the four of them. No fancy airplanes, just passports, backpacks, and lots of laughing. Noah always picked places with bookstores. Everin picked hotels with good internet, just in case. Mirai always asked to see where her mommy grew up. Cale only wanted to climb things. They didn't have a perfect life, but they had everything they needed. On the twins' third birthday, Everin threw a big party in their garden. The decorations were handmade. Noah baked the birthday cake. Old songs played on speakers. The kids danced with painted cheeks and sticky fingers. Then Noah pulled Everin to the side and said, "They don't know who you used to be." Everin looked at the twins. "Good." "Why?" she asked. "Because I'm still learning who I've become," he said. She smiled and whispered, "Well, I love him." Everin smiled back. "Me too." That night, when the children were asleep, Everin and Noah sat on the porch. The stars were shining. The city lights were far away. Little fireflies blinked in the grass. Noah put her head on Everin's shoulder. "I used to dream of this," she said softly, "but even in my dreams, it didn't feel this good." Everin kissed the top of her head. "That's because dreams don't have all the little things. Real life gives us the color." And so they kept building their life, not with bricks, but with love, with holding hands, with helping each other, with caring every day. The world took everything away from Everin Sloane, but one person, the cleaner he never saw, gave him something better. a feeling of being whole. Before you scroll away or click on something else, ask yourself something. Have you ever ignored someone only to find out later that they were the one you needed the most? Have you ever been so busy trying to win or be the best that you forgot to notice someone who truly cared for you? That's what this story is really about. Not about money or losing or being in trouble. It's about seeing, not just with your eyes, but with your heart. Everin Sloan lost a big company, bigger than most people can even dream of. He went from big business meetings to being broken and sad, from being very powerful to learning how to be gentle. But while he was falling, he found something even better. Love that didn't ask for anything. A family that didn't care about his money. They only cared that when he said, "I'm here," he really meant it. Noah wasn't some magic person who fixed everything. She wasn't just the maid people used to talk about. She wasn't a miracle. She was just a strong, kind woman. She didn't leave Evren even when he had once walked past her without seeing her. That's the kind of strength we don't talk about enough. How many people like Noah do we walk past every day? How many people have helped us quietly, cleaned up our messes, or stood beside us when no one else did? This is your reminder. Look around, say thank you. And if you are like Noah, always there, always caring, we see you now, and we thank you. Because of Noah, Evren didn't build his life again with money. He built it with love, with truth, with two little heartbeats, Mariah and Kale, who didn't care who their dad used to be. They only cared that he showed up every day with both hands and his whole heart. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Check out our other videos too. See you in the next one.